The critic. While most are content with trivial matters like film, food, or literature, one man dares to review all facets of life's rich tapestry at your behest. In the face of life's greater challenges, there is one critic you can turn to.
I'm Myles Barlow. Welcome to Review. You're watching Review with Myles Barlow, the show where I review anything.
Coming up on the program, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, is Myles the fairest of them all? And later, I risk life and limb for fame and fortune with harrowing results. But first...
This letter comes from Luke Granger, who's in Year 5 at Brunmead Public School. Dear Mr. Barlow, I love looking at the stars and the moon. Sometimes, Mum even lets me sleep out on the trampoline so that I can look up at them. But she won't buy me a telescope because she says it's too expensive. Can you please tell her to buy me one? She'll listen to you. Yours faithfully, Luke. Luke's seemingly quaint interest in astronomy belies a far more provocative desire: voyeurism. Just what is it about the need to watch that makes us unable to look away?
At first, I found observing other people a relaxing but far from stimulating pastime. Fortunately, there are plenty of other avenues through which to become a voyeur. Reality TV, for example.
One of these 10 lucky contestants is going to walk away with it all.
But watching a group of random strangers from my lounge room, whilst convenient, was even more mundane.
What do you say about that? All right!
I decided to focus on one contestant, Kelly.
I'm an asshole.
I'm not.
Fuck it.
What do you mean?
Just, she's making a massive effort with you.
Not only did I find myself devoting more time to this program, I felt the need to be somehow even closer to Kelly, which meant investing in a much larger TV screen.
I woke up and he was touching my arm, trying to, you know, and I just, you know, he's disgusting.
There's something about this warts and all observation of humanity which has paralysed me in my chair. I'm now completely captivated by Kelly.
The two of you who are eligible for clown or crown are Cherie.
Oh,
And Kelly.
what? Oh, no.
Behind this door is either going to be the crown, which equals safety, or the clown, which equals eviction. Kelly, it's your turn first.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even know this woman, not personally. Yet the sense of loss was overwhelming. It wasn't until Kelly was gone that I realised how much I needed her. I simply had to see her again.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Myles.
Hi, Myles. Thanks so much for watching.
That's okay.
I really appreciate your support.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Hi. Thanks for watching.
She was even more attractive in person. Warm, genuine, funny. And once I'd experienced that, my sense of yearning only increased. Keeping track of Kelly's movements became a full-time occupation. Somehow, being within 20 metres of her gave me a sense of excitement, a feeling of comfort to cling to. I couldn't deny that watching Kelly was becoming an arousing and illegal addiction. Once the line between casual observer and stalker had blurred, it was easy to stumble across.
Well, Kelly's now back at work, which has made keeping an eye on her all the more challenging. Yes, flower delivery for Kelly Brazier.
Oh, okay. Cal, flowers. Oh, they're gorgeous. Who are they from?
You're beautiful. Love from your secret admirer. Must be from Ben. Oh, he's such a dork.
Oh, a romantic dog.
Oh, thank you.
It's okay.
She'd accepted the flowers. I'd made her smile. I'd affected her life in at least a small way. But it simply wasn't enough. My voyeurism now took a dark, perverse turn. Common sense and decency had now abandoned me. I never would have conceived that I could become such a lurid sexual deviant.
I was just in the shower.
Timing's still perfect then.
Come on. What was that?
The fuck? Oh my God! Sorry, Gil. Who the fuck are you? You sick pervert! Please, I'm not normally like this. What the fuck are you doing in this place? I'll call the cops. I just wanted to watch.
Thankfully, the hiding Kelly's boyfriend administered was the wake-up call that I needed. Having slept through the alarm clock of vague interest, I'd snoozed on into a coma-like sleep of obsession, dreaming of a bottomless brandy balloon from which I was unable to stop supping the sweet nectar of maniacal desire. Ironically, the closer I got to Kelly and my quest to connect with her on a human level, the more objectified she became. Such is the cruel trick of delusion the mind can play, unless reality is kept in check. That said, the titillation of voyeurism is what makes it so deliciously hard to resist. So Luke's mum, if you're watching, I'd not only be alarmed that your son's asking for a telescope, I'd be in the throes of panic at what he's going to become. 2 stars.
Budget airlines. Although a cheap alternative to the major airlines, safety standards and meal quality is often overlooked. 1 star.
Earlier this week, I spoke to Carl Daly of Inverell Waters. Carl's been self-conscious about his weight for some time now, and despite many failed attempts, he's again trying to rid himself of those extra kilos. But it's not only for health reasons. Carl's also hoping it will transform his appearance and boost his self-confidence, something he says is important to him. Vanity. Just what are the implications of such self-obsession? I've never given my appearance much thought before, but to be vain, one must have pride in one's appearance. And whilst I do to some extent, as the old saying goes, there's always room for improvement.
Let's see what we're working with. Chin up.
This is professional stylist Fabian Jones. I've hired Fabian in the hope of cultivating a higher regard for my own self-image.
You didn't tell me you had orange hair. First thing, get you in shape.
Apparently, it wasn't only my physique that needed work. So did my skin tone, as well as my facial features.
can't feel anything.
No. Well, don't smile 3 days.
But while my skin had never felt more smooth and supple, I was having trouble seeing the point of all this self-indulgence. I had my doubts that Fabian's efforts were going to work on me at first.
He's become a beautiful butterfly.
But a flattering remark from a beautiful person was all it took.
You look really hot.
Really? Suddenly, I actually began to care about my own image. As my artificial tan grew, so did my appetite for high fashion. Catwalks and cocktail parties became the norm as I tried to keep up with the latest trends. Giving in to vanity afforded me an appreciation of my own beauty and opened the door to a new world of glamour. But soon, it wasn't enough to be one of the beautiful people. I needed to stand out amongst them. I needed to accessorize.
I bought a few photographs actually to show you. If you had Burmese, I think would be best. Burmese are very, very in at the moment, so.
Right, we generally don't specify race.
All right. Well, do you have any books I could look at? What do you have in stock at the moment? So I can just. I've got a big party coming up this Saturday.
I really don't think there's anything we can do for you, and especially not by Saturday.
All right. This has been a waste of time, hasn't it?
Your hair looks terrible. Frustrated by the red tape of adoption agencies, I decided to hit the factory outlets and go shopping myself.
Yeah, she's beautiful. How much?
By this stage, my vanity had mushroomed into full-blown narcissism. Not only would this baby be a fabulous addition to any wardrobe, I'd be able to mould her into my own divine image. Got one. Oh, absolute bargain. Like 2,000 US. I know. A cute third-world baby is an accessory that can really lift one's profile, whilst lending its wearer a rich, philanthropic aura. Little Milano worked even better than I'd expected, enchanting hearts and eliciting coos from all.
She matches you perfectly.
She would have died if he hadn't gone and risked it, you know.
You're such a humanitarian, Myles. And Milano. It's such a great name.
But I was unprepared for the inconvenient two-way street of parenthood.
What? Oh, fine. I forget the excuses. Babysitter just cancelled.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna have to take her with us.
Oh, no.
I can't leave her here by herself.
It's wonderful. Listen, it's really turned out, hasn't it? Yes.
Unfortunately, whilst highly fashionable, Milano was also proving to be high maintenance. And as with all fashion trends, she soon went out of season. Piglets were the new black now. Come on.
Myles, what are you doing outside?
Well,
have you seen the pig?
Yes, I've seen the pig. I have to deal with this now.
I think it's about time you confronted the reality that she's not working anymore.
Well, what do you suggest, Fabian?
Okay, ready?
Are you sure about this?
Oh, of course I'm sure, Myles.
It's okay, come on. Come on. Okay, there you go. Bye-bye.
Okay, go. Come on, get in. Just ignore her.
Okay, I'll try.
Ignore her.
Look out for yourself. You think this is easy?
Because of vanity, I was transformed from a cheap, disposable lighter into a blazing flamethrower of self-wonderment. So much so that I was soon blinded by my own allure, causing me to stumble forth into a diamond-encrusted trap, where I lay imprisoned in a jail of my own exquisiteness. And it was a captivity often spent in isolation, as I quickly tired of anyone who wasn't me. With reflective surfaces, my only real friends, I sought to fill my emotional emptiness with designer clothes and absurd trinkets. Unfortunately, while my sense of self-importance had skyrocketed, the struggle to maintain my stunning appearance became a grueling, ultimately hollow, unrewarding experience. So Carl, I'd be very wary of losing those extra kilos if I were you. 2 stars.
Being a rock star. An irresponsible, hedonistic life of indulgence.
And now it's time for our letter of the week. This week's letter comes from Angela Probert of Gorwal. Dear Myles, during the swimming championships on TV this week, a commentator referred to one victorious swimmer as, quote, a true blue Aussie hero. Now it would seem to me that all this swimmer did was, in fact, his job, which is to swim as fast as he can. Am I being un-Australian, or is this fair comment? Ange. Angela's pedantic gripe does pique an interesting question for our times. Just what does constitute heroism in today's society?
Of course, to experience heroism, one must first become a hero. This often requires an extraordinary feat. Or, one can simply leave the map at home and take a stroll in the bush.
Well, as I'd suspected, I've now become completely disorientated. With absolutely no idea where I am, my heroic tale of survival now begins.
As the days wear on, I lose all sense of time and direction. To stay alive is my only goal.
Oh, still a wallaby. Come on. Come over here. Come on. No, no. Come back. Wait. No.
Help! The savage mistress of nature has made me question the wisdom of this idea.
Help!
Myles! You dropped the base. I found him.
Finally, after 16 days in the wilderness, they find him. It was certainly a hero's welcome.
Did you ever think you were going to die out there?
Oh, yes. Quite a few times. But I was never going to give up. I couldn't do that to my kids. Their dad's not a quitter.
My gamble had begun to pay off, and my profile was on the rise.
Myles Barlow speaking.
No, I don't have representation.
Suddenly, I was the talk of the town, and embellishing my tale gave me even more
I was
admiration.
actually very lucky because I was able to trap a wallaby and eat it, and to sort of use my teeth as kind of like a saw. The fur gets quite matted in the wallabies, especially the diseased ones.
We have another caller on the line. Go ahead, Harold.
G'day, Myles. This is Harold. Mate, I followed your story in the news and just wanted to say how relieved I was and that you're a bloody modern-day Anzac.
Thank you, Harold. That's very kind.
It's an amazing story of survival, isn't it, Harold?
From there, it just began to snowball. Being recognised in the street, the photos, the autographs. I became a regular at functions and events and happily endorsed any product.
When I was lost out there in the wilderness, there were many times that I wanted to give up. But I never did. And neither will your car if you've got an Enduro battery under the hood. Enduro and Myles Barlow. We never give up.
My self-importance soared when a movie depicting my harrowing ordeal went into production.
Action!
Hang in there.
The respect and adulation was intoxicating.
So is it true you,
Yeah.
you, actually drank your own piss?
Yeah, and when that comes down
Yes.
over that way, yeah.
What did it taste like? Was it warm? Was it kind of like warm lift?
It was warm.
Like lift? Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night, images of piss going into your mouth, and like, do you have nightmares about? Because you drank your own piss.
Not really.
I mean, that's no joke.
By the time of the film's premiere, the folklore of Myles Barlow was all but out of control.
Come on, Myles. Hang in there. They're going to find you.
I was so entangled in my own mythology, I was moved by my own lies.
So tonight I'd really like to take this opportunity to thank the real-life hero of this tale and my close personal friend, ladies and gentlemen, Myles Barlow.
I was riding a wave of admiration, but then the tide suddenly turned.
But you were quite unprepared, as I understand it.
All right, yes, I was, but I mean, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, but you were rescued at the expense, gigantic expense of the Australian taxpayer.
I'm one of those taxpayers. Let's not forget.
$2 million worth of rescue?
Look, I never asked to be
rescued. You've
rescued.
also made probably as much as that out of, what, movie deals, book deals, endorsements. I mean, it's fair to say, isn't it, that you've actually done quite well out of what
look,
you've been
I'm not
through.
disputing that, but look, you brought up the movie. Let's talk about the movie.
Myles, if you're at home watching this yourself, would you see Myles Barlow as a hero or just plain lucky?
Well, I guess as a lucky hero.
A lucky hero?
Yes.
Myles Barlow, thanks for talking.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Is that it? Well, that was a bit of a stitch-up.
What's the problem?
Well, I thought we were going to be talking about the movie and obviously didn't get the... Did you get the questions?
Questions?
My agent...
Oh, the ones from your agent?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think that was... I thought that was a joke.
Well, it wasn't a joke. Thank you. That's... No, that's fine. Barbara, do you have Rove's number? Let's get on to him. No more journalists.
Myles Barlow, thanks for talking.
Thank you, George. I don't think I came across that badly. It's a celebrity golf day. I mean, are they cancelling the event or are you saying they're cancelling me?
I couldn't believe it. My 15 minutes had begun to fade.
No, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Tony, but it's not. I did catch the wallaby, and I know. Look, I'm not saying it was easy. The thing is, I mean, you're making it sound as if I purposely went out and got lost. No, that's. Look, you know what? I've had enough of this, and I'm sorry, Stuart, but that's it. I can't. Didn't come in here to be harangued like that on radio. So.
Very serious situation Myles found himself in. He could have been killed out there. He was lost for quite a number of days. I just wish he'd bloody stayed lost. Classic.
The fall from grace was too much to bear. I had to prove that I truly was worthy of being called a hero.
To the street. Is everyone here?
Miss Wilson upstairs.
Hey, wait for the fireman! No, there's no time!
One man, Myles Barlow, who only recently survived a harrowing ordeal lost in the bush, was in the headlines again after coming to the aid of several residents. Tragically, 3 people perished in the blaze that engulfed the 2-storey block, but it could have been much worse if not for the selfless bravery of Mr. Barlow.
Being labelled a hero was alarmingly easy to accept and perpetuate. Once I'd checked into first class aboard the jumbo jet of fame, I found myself ordering drinks and nibbling nuts as if they were in endless supply. Of course, the drinks went sour and the nuts were sent to economy as the media turned against me. The problem was, now that I'd acquired a taste for these little treats, I had to find a way of knocking out the flight steward so that I could raid the catering tray myself. Ergo, whether I acted heroically or not became less important than simply being perceived that way. And this is really what whingers such as Angela are talking about. Unfortunately, for any real heroes out there, the kind of adoration bandied around our television screens is rarely reserved for you, unless your story can sell a newspaper. Having said all that, mine certainly can, and you can find it in all good bookstores. 3 stars. Coming up next week, erotic art, tax returns, unusual condiments, and I try my hand at home invasion. All that and more next time on Review.